Shave about twice a week. All right, what we got?
How was Tolles?
He's not practicing. I told Madaleno that I wanted him out here where he's at least watching and learning. You know, it'd be nice to get him back, but I still got to remember he was on the scout team except for about 3 days. So it's not like he's going to magically come back out here and know what he's supposed to do. So at least get him out here watching and learning. You know, whenever he is healthy and able to get back into it, we should be a little bit further along.
Can he practice this week?
That's up to the trainers, but we'll see where we're at. But I'm not counting on it.
Randy, with Jalen, I mean, do you go back to trying to do what you're doing with him, just do it better, or are you trying to find other things that he possibly could do?
Well, John, it's a good question. We're trying to find what he can do and what he's good at. You know, we have tried to be really smart in what we've asked him to do, and we've tried to stay within the same concepts, but change up some formations, change up the way we're doing it, and it seems like we're farther away from executing correctly last week than we were 2 weeks ago. You know, so we're trying to figure out why that is. You know, is it what the defense is doing? Are those concepts just not clicking in his brain, or what do we need to do? So we're trying to figure out what he does well. Obviously, we know he can pull it down and run with it, but we also got to get the thing out of our hand and complete some passes downfield.
Randy, Arkansas loaded the box all night. I assume you anticipate that from Georgia. What do you do to counteract that?
Well, you know, it was interesting. Arkansas started out the first series, they blitzed us a couple of times. You know, and we hit the screen. If we hit the second screen on third down, there's only one guy left. You know, after that it was almost no blitz. You know, they did bring guys up, but they didn't really blitz. They just lined up, tried to take away the run game and make us execute the passing game. And obviously we did a very poor job of executing the passing game. It was almost completely different than what Mississippi State did. Mississippi State just stayed back and dared just to run the ball. And we weren't able to run the ball really effectively against them. And you know, had we been able to execute a little bit better in the passing game, I think we could have run the ball. Whereas last week, they kind of loaded the box, dared just to execute the passing game, and we struggled.
Has Georgia had a tendency to do one or the other?
Georgia's done both. They have done both during the course of the year. They've done both pretty much throughout games, and then they've had games where they went back and forth from one to the other. So it'll be interesting to see what their philosophy is. I don't know exactly what approach they would take, but you know, they're talented enough. They got to feel like they can probably have success doing it.
What's your outlook on the ground? Where do you see it progressing?
Well, obviously we've unfortunately we have to be a little bit hard-headed with the run game right now because we do have our limitations in the passing game. You know, we're not. I like what our offensive line has done. I like the way our running backs have run. You know, so we're not talented enough to say we're going to run the ball 60 times. Here we come, and get it done against good defenses. So we have to maintain some balance. We have to do enough in the passing game to keep teams honest, and that's what we haven't done the last couple of years.
What makes you optimistic offensively? Is there anything that you point to and say we could get better at this, or we, you know?
Well, Jen, one of the biggest sources of optimism, I think, is that we haven't turned the ball over. So we're doing that well. Up until last week, we'd had very few offensive penalties. You know, we had a couple of procedure penalties last week that hurt us. Otherwise, you know, we haven't done much damage. Young guys usually get better with reps. They get better with practice reps. They get better with game reps. So we do have young guys that are getting a lot of reps. Hopefully, we're making improvement. We certainly have to make improvement. You look to those things like that.
Theorize that Jalen maybe was in his own head after those picks that he threw early. And his passing game really hasn't been the same since then. Do you still kind of point to that and say he's got to get over that mental hurdle? Or?
I think that could be part of it, but I don't know. I don't know. Just I wish I knew the answer to it. I can fix it right now. That's one of the things we're trying to fix. There's a number of things we're trying to fix. There's nothing I've been able to put my finger on.
Are you going
exclusively with Jalen this week unless he needs to step back like last week, or are you going to try to work him?
Well, I thought when Morgan was in there, we did some pretty good things. You know, we made a couple of first downs there. The second drive, we had a third and 4 inches or 6 inches, and we had a procedure penalty and don't execute on third down. But I think having Morgan in the mix helps go. I think having Morgan in the mix also probably helps our team. So he needs to be in the mix. He's a senior. He has experience. He obviously has some physical limitations, but there are a lot of things he brings to us that we need. And it's nice to have a senior out there just kind of leading the team on the field. I think it has a little bit of a calming effect.
Randy, you talked about this a little bit after the game, but the obvious limitations as quarterback now compared to where you were when you began with this revamped offense. You kind of feel like you're in a straitjacket when it comes time to look at a defense and figure out what you're. How bad is it?
Things are certainly different. They're much different. You know, we went through spring practice, we went through fall camp early on, and honestly, we didn't have a really big package, but we tried to get really good at what we were doing. And I felt like we had gotten good at what we were doing. The quarterback, the offensive line, the receiver. You know, suddenly we had the injuries we've had, and we had to kind of get away from what we were really good at. And we've had to kind of try to reinvent ourselves a little bit to what our quarterback can do and what the other guys can do. Unfortunately, we've been playing some pretty good teams, you know, that hasn't made it easy. We also haven't performed real well, and maybe as coaches, we haven't really put our finger on what that is that we can do well yet. We're still looking, still searching, and hopefully we'll find it soon.
Folks, thank you very much. Let's get to thanks, Randy.